And there we go. Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another live commentary on my channel. This is for Aquaman, the 2018 movie. Yeah, Johnny Jerry, I read your comment. 1:30. That's for perfect time. Good delay because I'm going to be extremely busy from 12:30 to 1:15. That's fine. You can join me in a little bit. This is the 2018 Aquaman movie that came out December of 2018. I didn't see this in the theater in December. I saw it last year in January before my birthday. So yeah, we're gonna get started. You can join me when you get back. I had to do the delay because I was supposed to start at 12:30, but there was some things came up. So yeah, this is a really good movie. This is a long, over 2 hour, sci-fi action epic underwater. Basically, what Avatar 2 is gonna try to be. But let's get started. I just got it on 0.0001. We're gonna start it, and by the time we get to like the hour mark, Jenny can join me. If you any others that want to join me in the chat that are not trolls, join me in the chat. Let's go. Let me lower it because I don't want to get a copyright infringement. There's a long movie, so Johnny Jerry can join me in a little bit. I just wanted to delay it a little bit. This movie starts with a flashback because every DC movie has to have like a ton of flashbacks. Because so far this year I did Wonder Woman with my friend. I did whatchamacallit, Shazam by myself back in March. And well, I haven't done BVS yet, so that's loud. It starts with, yes, Jango Fett himself, Tamora Morrison, the one who just played Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. You're gonna get a lot of that talk during this podcast, even though I haven't done a Mandalorian podcast yet. I've only done one live reaction to the first episode of season 2. Good actor. I'm glad he came back to Star Wars because it's better now than it was a year ago. Amnesty Bay, Maine, 1985. Yeah, when I was a baby. Was that 1985? Hold on. Yeah, 1985. Again, I was a baby when that happened. I wasn't in Maine. I've never been to Maine in my life. And Jason Momoa is a good lead. I know I'm going to have a lot of bad things to say about the Amber Heard. So if you're an Amber Heard fan, don't join this podcast because she's going to get it right between the eyes, guys. This is when he finds Nicole Kidman. Also, it's good to see her back in DC after Batman Forever. And basically, this is going to be better than that remake of Little Mermaid that's coming out from Disney. I don't care, guys. That was one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, and they're going to bastardize it. Make it woke like you did with Mulan this year. So yeah, it's a great movie. This movie, I saw it in the theater, and I was very, very entertained. I was just surprised how good it was. After a year before this, Justice League bombed, and it didn't do well. And yet we're getting the Snyder Cut next year, which I'll be watching on HBO Max, hopefully, when I get that. So that's is that the Aquaman TV show? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. You saw there's a puppy in there. There's a golden retriever in the movie. Yeah. Of course they are. One is from New Zealand and the other is from Australia. But it didn't bother me because unlike in New Mutants where everybody's foreign and they suck ass, this movie has a better cast. Yeah. And they're not teeny bopper, tweeny boppers. And they never did Game of Thrones. Most of the cast. Well, the only one is Jason Momoa. He's the only actor that was on Game of Thrones. The rest of the cast has never been on Game of Thrones. So look at the puppy whoopee. I remember those TVs in the 80s. I was around. I was a little kid. And yeah, Nicole Kidman, this is the first DC movie she did since Batman Forever back in 1995. I was 10 when I saw her, and I thought she was hot then. She's still a very attractive woman. Unlike Margot Robbie, who everybody's obsessed with, she can act, and she won an Oscar. What has Margot Robbie done? Nothing. She's gotten an Oscar nomination for playing a real person, and she does the worst New Jersey accent I've ever heard in my life. Puppy whoopee! Yeah, she was going to eat the fish, yeah. Looks like Elsa's outfit from Frozen 2. Because like I said, this movie, I said, Aquaman movie, how is that going to work? But it did. It was very good. It was flawed, I know Josh is not a fan that it has too much CG, and Momoa's not Gal, but again, Momoa got to work with Gal in Justice League, so at least he got a chance. He got one of the best lines in that movie. You're gorgeous. Again, it wasn't bad writing. That was true. The best kind of writing is the truth, the real truth, not some pandering, devout BS that I have to deal with. Hopefully, The Boys doesn't have that, because I don't want to be sitting and watching a pure flick show. That's not for me, guys. Never been for me. If you know what, look it up. And they didn't de-age Nicole Kidman. She really does look like that. They didn't de-age her like they did with Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War, or Michael Douglas in Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. They did that for Luke in Mandalorian, but like I said, if you've seen it, it looks awesome. It doesn't look terrible. Rogue One looked worse. That was a theatrically released film that was boring and nothing happens, and they de-aged Peter Cushing, but Peter Cushing's been dead since 1994, so you de-aged an actor that doesn't even live anymore. See, procreation, that's what people were doing this year during COVID. Arthur. Look at the baby. It's tanned like Jason Momoa is. Yeah, he's a good actor. People doubted him, saying such a big dude doesn't have any range, but he really proved himself in this movie, just like Gal did in Wonder Woman, and just like Zachary Levi did in Shazam, and just like even in a non-DCU movie, Joaquin Phoenix did as Joker. Because after Suicide Squad, I thought Joker was unfixable. Now he was. And look, the Golden Retriever's older now. Look at his afro. He has like curly hair. It's cute. They might have used CG on Temuera Morrison's face, but it didn't look like it. Because in Mando he was bald, and yet he still can act. He's still a great Django. Like with everybody saying that Attack of the Clones is the worst movie ever made, go back and watch Django in that movie. He's freaking awesome. There's no terrible dialogue with him. He does a lot in that movie. These look like the stormtroopers. Again, this is a better Star Wars movie than The Last Jedi and Force Awakens and Rogue One and Solo, because I can actually see the action, guys. So go screw yourself, Kathleen Kennedy. Yes, I'm going to try to keep it minimal. Tell me these suits don't look freaking awesome. They're basically white stormtroopers underwater. Again, we didn't see that since the prequels. Yeah, this is an awesome scene. Yeah. This film does have a budget too. This movie made over $1 billion. I was not expecting that. I thought this was gonna flop, because I'm like, this is a big budget DC movie that came a year after Justice League failed. What's gonna happen? And it surprised everybody. And this is before COVID hit. So again, people were very excited to see this in the theater. I know I was. And it's funny. It has a lot of charm to it. The only actor I hate in this movie is Amber Heard, because she's freaking terrible. Even when I saw it before she was beating up Johnny Depp, I saw her in this movie and I'm like, oh my God, you are a diet soda version of Scarlett Johansson. You don't have any of her charm. You're not sexy. You're very, very boring. She even the kiss with Jason Momoa at the end, you can't even see his face. Her hair's covering his face. It's the same kiss from Rise of Skywalker, soulless and not earned. Hopefully in the sequel, they reduce her or they kill her off and put her sister instead, because again, that's going to work better. Johnny Jerry, I never asked when you see this, where are you from? Like, what's your time zone? Because my friend Josh lives in Tennessee, and that's far. So the time over there is different. It's like 2 hours. Yeah, this looks like they put CG on his face. They have to hide him underwater. Like, oh no, they have to leave him, and then she leaves. Yeah. And this film has beautiful colors, and they have locations that are like straight out of a Bond movie. There were some problems with this movie also. There's two villains. I think you only needed one. Either have Black Manta be the main villain or Patrick Wilson. Having both of them just feels a little Batman and Robin to me. Just not the tone, just that there's two villains. And I'm like, Shazam had one villain, guys. It didn't have three villains. You had a freaking the Dr. Sylvana or whatever, and those the creatures. That's it. There was no side villain or anything. So that's the problem some of these superhero movies have. They cram in too many villains. Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, freaking Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. You don't need too many villains. It becomes convoluted. Look at this underwater scene. That's beautiful. Looks like Finding Nemo. Boston Aquarium, Massachusetts. This isn't present day. No, I think this is like in the 90s or the early 2000s. I don't know, because he was a baby in the 80s, so he's like me. So yeah, there's Arthur as a kid. Also, I'm getting tired of this. Stop putting bullies in DC movies. We get it, okay? Everybody's different. Prejudice sucks. We get it. We don't need bullies, attacking a kid or whatever. Yeah, there's a shark. You don't need bullies attacking somebody. I'm like, we saw this here and in Shazam. It's tiresome, guys. Even in Joker, they were beating him up. Can you go through one DC movie without having bullies in it? Have your protagonist and your antagonist. You don't need bullies. There's a shark where he does his echolocation. This is when Arthur's eyes turn yellow for some reason. He looks like a prequel character. Like, you notice most of the CG characters in the prequels have yellow eyes for some reason, like Jar Jar and Watto and a bunch of others. Yeah, here it's just yellow contacts, like Jim Carrey wore in The Grinch. And this film is beautiful. Like I love the way the film looks. The opening is really cool. The opening was about 10 minutes. That's why the film's so long, because the opening was pretty long. Present day, here we go. This is the submarine scene where you meet Black Manta and his father. I'm going to kill you because you killed my father. I'm like, his father told him to leave. It's not like Aquaman took his trident and then stabbed him with it, There's always a personal vendetta in these DC movies as well. That's why I prefer Marvel, because Marvel, their movies don't beat around the bush. Normally they do blame like Tony for most of the villains in the MCU, like Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Homecoming and Far From Home, whatever. Yeah, these also look like stormtroopers, by the way. They wear black suits, yeah. And this guy's going to be in the Matrix 4. I don't know why, but and it's good to have diversity in these DCU movies, because Marvel has it, so why not them? Because this year was a big pool of diversity all over Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube, whatever, TikTok. Some people said that the movie was silly. I'm like, it's a DC movie. They're going to have lighter tones. Oh, these are the Russians, yeah. This guy was also in The Greatest Showman. What's his name? It's some big African name. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. Yeah, that's as black as they get when it comes to names. It's probably Muslim or something name. But anyway, I'm not interested in politics here. Let's just get to the film. Let's just talk about the film. Also, I like this underwater scene because it's something different for DC. They didn't do a lot of underwater stuff with in Justice League. It's like a one scene with Arthur when he's talking to Mira, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of lame. It could have been cut for time. The also that most of the stuff with the DCU was like in a major city, small town, or like in the past, like with Wonder Woman and Themyscira, and then when she comes into the 1900s. Also, Dolph Lundgren's in this movie. It's good to see him in a big budget movie again. He was doing a lot of direct-to-video stuff. Willem Dafoe's in the film. It's good to see him again. Patrick Wilson, yeah, this is the first thing I've seen him in theaters in 10 years since I saw him in, well, actually, no, the first comic book movie I saw him in since Watchmen. So he was great in that. That's Night Owl. I thought he was really good because I saw him in the Conjuring, the first Conjuring. Patrick Wilson. Here we go. Here comes Arthur. Yeah, he's basically an underwater Thor, but without the British accent and a tan and tattoos. And there's no fat version of Aquaman compared to Thor, which was funny. You know, Chris Hemsworth nailed it. And this says an adventurous visual spectacle. Definitely, I agree with that. Yep, it's a man. It's a lot of fun, this movie. I got to see it in theater, so I got to experience it for myself. First DCU movie I'd seen in a year since Justice League, because I didn't see Birds of Prey. I skipped it this year. I didn't care. It was my least anticipated movie of this year. Came out, it flopped, it deserved it. No one wants to see Margot Robbie as a bisexual freaking rainbow color freaking hot topic version of Harley. That's not my Harley. Sorry. It's just not. Plus, them men being misogynist in that movie, yeah, that didn't work for me either. Here, the men and the women are mostly equal, except for Amber Heard. Still can't act, guys. Sorry. I'm not going to show any pictures of her because that's awesome. Him jumping on the freaking ship like that. This movie just hit the right notes for me after so many movies. You know, DC movies were either too dark or had undersaturated colors. This one finally is like, you know what? We're going to make a Marvel type movie with beautiful colors and imagery that doesn't make you sick. There it is. Bored. And I guarantee you, Josh, Jason Momoa is going to be good in Dune. How do I know that? Because Dune, he's under the protection of a great director, Denis Villeneuve, who can direct. That guy, every movie he makes is visually stunning. No matter how I feel about the cast, his movies are gorgeous to look at, just like this movie. James Wan did a good job. He also did The Conjuring. And I really enjoyed his take on this. And, you know, the fact that this movie made $1 billion, I'm like, yeah, that shows that, yes, DC can make a fun movie. It's not for everyone. Some people on YouTube hated this movie, but I'm like, why? Because it got a lot of CG? I don't know. That's awesome. Him walking. Yeah, there's some slow-mo in the movie. Not as much as in Justice League or Wonder Woman, but still, or BVS. That's awesome. He's like a pro wrestler. Boom. That's great. Yeah, he's like a professional wrestler with a bunch of tats and really tall. It's funny because I never saw Game of Thrones, but I heard, yeah, he was in love with the freaking dragon lady, Emilia Clarke. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of her. If she was in a Marvel or DC movie, she would suck in it without question, guys. Yep. Hurry, I'm missing Happy Hour for this. Yeah, because he likes to drink, just like Thor did in Avengers Endgame. That's how he got so fat, because he was drinking a lot of beer. It's a good movie. This movie it looks fantastic. Titanic is 3 hours and that got a ton of Oscars, and I don't know why. This didn't even get one for best visual effects or anything. Why? Because DCU movies usually get the shaft when it comes to their thing. Because Wonder Woman got nothing. Shazam didn't even get best costume design or anything. Joker got an Oscar. It won 2 of them because it's an actual film. There's no CG. It's made like old school films back in the day, and it has a performance that we'll never forget. And I'm glad that they got it for Black Manta. They got a dark skinned guy because uh, we have a lot of people that are light skinned that are like Zendaya and Will Smith or whatever. It's good to see some variety. Nothing against them. I love mixed girls. You know me. I told these guys, I know what kind of women I'm into, but I'm not into women that are abusive. Just not for me. Sorry. Oh, separate the artist from the art. No, I can't do that because I didn't like her a year before she got indicted or whatever. You know, she got freaking, those accusations came out. I can't separate the art from the artist when it bothers me so much. With Bill Cosby, I'm like, I could see his old films before it happened because I'm like, I didn't know, I was a kid. But with the recent stuff, no, it's hard. Trust me on that one, guys. But I don't want to get overly political here because, like I said before, I am doing this live commentary for you guys. Johnny could join me in the chat by the time Amber shows up, which no, she's getting no love from me. I don't even want to look at her. I'd rather look at the chat. He did hit his father with the spear, but he didn't kill him. And Aquaman's getting a sequel, but like I said before, see, that's why the ship blows up. He shouldn't have shot it. The father would, if he didn't try to shoot him, he wouldn't have died. He probably would have had a wounded infection. That's it. And let's face it, Black Panther 2 will not be the same without Chadwick. It's going to be different. And it's going to be sad because, like I said, I losing him was a horrible thing that happened to me this year. You know, it was a great actor. I miss him a lot. Ask the sea for mercy. Yeah, even the sea wasn't merciful this year because poor Shad Gaspar, the guy from Prime Time, he passed away because he had to save somebody in the water. See, the water is not a place for humans. Trust me on that, guys. I didn't like being in the ocean. I like going to a swimming pool because it's a contained body of water, and I don't go to the deep end. I don't like drowning. Drowning is one of the worst ways to go. Ah! He's like a wrestler. Even Bozeman didn't do that in Black Panther or even Wesley Snipes in Blade. I'm glad that they got a black guy to play Blade because listen here, if Blade was cast as a white girl with blonde hair, it would have gotten destroyed by the freaking. There would be pitchforks and torches outside of freaking Marvel and be like, "How dare you whitewash Blade and make him a woman and make it woke?" No, they kept Blade. They're keeping it in the same vein as the 1998 film, a dark-skinned black guy that won an Oscar, and he's going to do a good job. And they're going to have Marvel's backup, people to back him up. Good writers, good directors. That's what's going to work for Blade in the MCU. While it won't be the R-rated bloodbath that the original Blade films were, at least there's going to be a different take on Blade. They can still put blood in it, just they can't put like squirting all over the place. Just like he cuts somebody and they can bleed like from their arm or something. But I'm looking forward to Blade for the MCU because again, they got a good actor. Mahershala Ali was in Into the Spider-Verse. That's cool. I like that. But this is not about Marvel. It's about DC. But just to let you know, guys, we can't have woke versions of characters in the comics. It's just not going to work. After the year we had, it's not going to work. Get some water. There's tomorrow. Yeah, this is what he looks like now as Django, and as Boba Fett. And yes, I'm looking forward to the book of Boba Fett in 2021. I really enjoyed Mando this year. It was the best show I saw all year in 2020. Yeah, he buys him breakfast. He gets him a giant pint of beer. And this movie was surprising. I was like, I thought this movie was going to suck. Like, not when the trailer came out, but when the idea that Aquaman was going to get his own movie. He should have gotten his own movie before Justice League, but, Marvel, DC was doing things backwards. They were trying to set up they wanted Man of Steel to be their Iron Man, and it was not Iron Man. So I'll buy you breakfast. Yeah, if my dad told me that, he would never get me beer, not even root beer. He would just get me some nice, I don't know, go to Denny's or IHOP and get some pancakes or something. Yeah. And by the way, Jason Momoa is actually married to the girl that's playing the new uh or actually no, he's not married to the girl from no, that's another actress. He's married to the girl from the Cosby Show. Yeah, right. I think it's Lisa Bonet. Hold on. He's a good actor. I don't know why people just make fun of him. They said Jason Mamma Mia. Yeah, he wasn't the Conan remake wasn't great. I know that. But I didn't hate it. There were some things I liked about it. He wasn't the problem. And I hope that he recovered after, having that injury working on the set. Yeah, he's married to Lisa Bonet. Yeah, no, so yeah, I was wrong. I thought he was married to Zoe Kravitz. No, she's married to someone else. Yeah, I love this. I want a selfie. This is funny. I like this. He has a pink cell phone cover. That's hilarious. Can we get a picture with you? Yeah, I would love to take a picture with Jason Momoa. It's a tall guy. How tall is he? Like 6'4" or something like that. Don't touch me. Look at his face. He's like look. This is fun. Like this movie, it puts a smile on my face. Yeah, fins and grins. That's what DC did. They had to take a 180 because again, this movie would not work if it was dark and gloomy like Man of Steel or BVS or Suicide Squad. It had to be fun somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, Momoa's. How tall is he? Hold on. These seahorses look awesome, by the way. The CG looks great in this movie. I don't know why people said it looks too CG. What were you expecting, guys? Underwater movies are very expensive. You think uh, Titanic was all practical? No, that boat was CG most of the time it was hit. These creatures look amazing. These sharks and the octopus at the end, that creature at the end. There's Patrick Wilson with blonde hair. It's rare to see him with blonde. And also the seahorses and the manta rays. That looks great. Yeah, it does look like a Phantom Menace. Like when they're in the Gungan City and there's all the water creatures. It didn't bother me. They reference a better Star Wars movie than, you know, Height. I would love to see Momoa at a Comic Con. He's 6'4". I was right. He's a massive man. He's the size of a wrestler. Even Dolph Lundgren is very tall too. It's cool. This movie's like I didn't see the Aquaman cartoon or the TV show from back in the 70s or that failed pilot that came out a few years ago. But this movie worked. Who knew? I saw this at the Alamo Draft House last year. So no stupid kids running around, no babies crying, just me and a couple of people in the audience having a good time. That's how it should be. Hey, I'll take this over Venom. Fight me on that. Josh can honestly say that this is a better movie than Venom. It has a better plot. You get to the origin faster. We don't have to wait an hour for Aquaman to show up. Just saying, guys. DC knew what they were doing. They said we can't wait an hour to introduce this man. He doesn't look like this until the end, but we show him in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, there's a hammerhead shark. I like these costumes too. They're very bright and colorful. They actually have a weight to them. They don't look fake. It's not bad CG like in the Green Lantern movie where it's a CGI suit. That looks terrible. Even looking back on it, I'm like, I don't hate the movie, but the CG costume was stupid. It really was. I don't know why they went with CG. All these DCU movies don't use CG for the costumes. Wonder Woman, even BVS, the costume, the bat suit with the freaking iron, that's a real suit. That wasn't CG completely. Excuse me. Ocean Master, yeah, this is his name. Yeah, it's a good movie. I really enjoy this. It's fun to rewatch this after not watching it for like a couple months. It looks great on Blu-ray too. The sound and picture quality looks fantastic on a smart TV. But this is on my DVD player. But it also looks stunning because it's a real copy. I don't get bootlegs. This is my sister's copy. She got the last copy of this movie at Walmart last year. Yeah, last copy. That means that this movie was very popular when it came out. Obviously, it was the only DC movie out at the time. That looks awesome, by the way. Who knew that I wanted to act? Oh yeah, that's like a crocodile thing. It looks like the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World. But again, I'm invested in the characters in this movie, mostly, except for Amber Heard. Mira, I don't even like that character in the comics, to be honest with you. I think she was done better in that Justice League Throne of Atlantis movie, because at least there she has things to do, and you have a better actress voicing her. Because of what Amber did, she's not going to get a lot of work anymore. Because in Hollywood, you make one major mistake and they blacklist you for life. Thankfully, I can make mistakes and still get on here on YouTube and still do my thing. Why? Because I have an audience that will support me. Yep. Yeah, Wilson's a good actor. He could have been the main villain. You didn't need two villains. I know Black Manta's more of a side villain because he's just, he pops. You don't see him again for a long, long time until they get to Italy. Yeah, they'll hear. This has good actors in it. It's not like they got a bunch of freaking Game of Thrones actors that couldn't act. Here comes Mira. Yeah, you're not gonna get any love from me, guys. As soon as she shows up, I'm gonna be like they did in Man of Steel. You shall not pass. I know she's wearing green and it's the holidays, but no, I'll take Poison Ivy over her any day. At least she's sexy. Ugh, you are a nuisance. You are not Scarlett Johansson. Your red hair looks fake. You have no personality, nothing. Even when I watched her in Drive Angry, I had to donate that movie because I don't like her anymore. Seriously. I love Nicolas Cage in that movie and the action, but she's in the film way too much with the worst Southern accent I've heard in a Nicolas Cage movie. Blah, 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 blah. She's there to spout out exposition. And even when I saw this in the theater, I said, no, can't act, guys. I'm sorry. Give me somebody that I can actually, I don't know, get invested in. After seeing Infinity War the same year in what was it, April of 2018, how do you get Scarlett Johansson with blonde hair giving an Oscar-worthy performance in compared to this chick? This chick is like, I'm going to spout exposition and talk like this and have no. She has the same blank expression like this. She's a robot. She has no personality. Oh, she's supposed to be she's supposed to be underwater, so she's supposed to be emotionless. No, Momoa's trying. That's why he's coming back. She's going to be reduced. I guarantee you. Audiences don't want to pleasure themselves to a girl that beat up Johnny Depp or is crazy, you know? That's why I'm never dating a crazy chick. You're telling us stuff that we already know, Amber. If we already know, why are you telling us? We're not stupid. A lot of people read the comics before this movie came out. And I saw the Aquaman and plenty of other Justice League movies and the cartoons and everything else. So, and they have no chemistry as a couple. That's one of the reasons I was not buying this. I got more chemistry with freaking Ant-Man and the Wasp, honestly, when it came to a loving couple. And Cassie, who, yeah, there's Black Manta, but you don't see him in the costume until like about an hour into the movie. I'm mad. I'm gonna kill Aquaman. And yeah, he's coming back for the sequel, I believe, because there's a post-credit scene where he's there somewhere in the North Sea. That looks great. That underwater purple and blue lights. How far are we in? We're about 20 minutes in. 30 minutes. 32 minutes. Still got a long way to go. Those suits look really cool. And the fact that there were people dressed up as these characters at Comic-Con last year, it proves why this movie was a massive hit and why movies like New Mutants and Dark Phoenix and Birds of Prey flopped. They flopped. That looks cool. Actually, no, your father, he killed himself. He just stabbed him. But your father blew up the submarine. What did you expect? That looks cool. It's like a watery hologram from like the Star Wars prequels. See, again, this reminded me a lot of the prequels, but in a good way. Unlike people saying those movies are just eye candy and nothing else. Again, I was invested in those movies. As much as they have flaws, they're not like, oh my God, these movies are so terrible. With the new movies, I was bored. The cast just didn't do it for me. Who knew? That looks cool. Look at that. It looks like a tsunami. Of course, I would never want to see that because that's a nightmare. So Johnny Jerry's probably going to join me now. It's 1:31 because I don't know where he lives. So if it's a different time zone, I live in the east, so the time zone is different. Right now it's 1:30, and like other states is like either 12:31 or it's like 11 o'clock. In California, it's like still morning over there. This is why I don't like living near the ocean because I don't want to drown. I live near a lake, but it's not deep enough to flood the whole world. I don't even know how they did this. So like Momoa's underwater looking for his father, like you doing like a current. Wow, wow! I can water bend. Yeah, I saw that on the last Airbender. Hell, I saw that in other movies before that too. Yeah, I mean she gets no love from me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm as heterosexual as they come, but she's just not for me. Not for me at all. I hope she's reduced in the sequel because yeah, that blue eyes that she has that's possessed her to hit Johnny Depp and be weird. I'm never marrying somebody like that. I want her to be nice, be freaking decent, not be a pandering fool. You know what I mean? Again, I saw that in Star Wars, The Force. I'm here. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, what time zone do you live in? Amber Heard. Yes, exactly. Screw Amber Heard. I'm not a fan of hers. Even when this movie came out, I was not like, oh no. I was like, no, I don't like you. You're boring. I gave her a chance. She was boring in Justice League in one scene in the theatrical cut, and she was boring here. I'm sorry. And she's not British or anything. She's terrible. She's a terrible person. I don't blame people. Girls that cosplay as Mira at Comic Con or any convention, that's fine. They're not Amber. As long as they're not abusive, women, I'm fine with it. They don't throw their punches. They're actually decent and gentle. I'm fine with it. I don't like women that are rough around the edges. You know what I mean? Oh, so you live in New York? What part of New York, Johnny? Just, no specifics. Just like what part, upstate or Manhattan or what? Oh, you have no idea, Amber. You have no idea. I'm not even going to say Amber. I'm going to say Amber because I'm not a fan, guys. It's hard to see a superhero movie where there's a female lead I don't like. It also happened in Captain America: The First Avenger. I did not like freaking Haley Atwell. She has too much screen time, and I thought she kind of sucked. That's why she's This is when they sell the news where there's flooding and there's garbage all over the place. No, I recycle. I throw my garbage in the garbage can. And look who's there. The guy from Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I like these news reels because it's kind of like in RoboCop. Yeah, he did two superhero movies that year. It's like when Jaman Hansu did Captain Marvel and Shazam in the same year. And they're both two completely different characters, even though Shazam's real name in the comics was Captain Marvel. Again, that had beautiful women in it that I liked, except for Megan Good, but she's only in 5 minutes of the movie. I swear that the kid that fights Willem Dafoe on the beach, he looks just like Johnny Jan Bausch from Power Rangers. He looks just like him. John Jan Bausch, he was the Green Ranger in Power Rangers Turbo and Zeo, and he was the Black Ranger in Mighty Morphin in the second and third season. Yeah, jump off a cliff, leap to your doom, Amber. She's just not interesting. She's boring. Into the Spider Verse, I really enjoyed the cast in that, but Haley Steinfeld wasn't beating somebody with a stick. You know what I mean? She's gentle. That's why she's getting more work, and she's younger. This movie cost 160 to 200 million dollars, made 1.148 billion dollars. Wow, that's absolutely insane. There's also going to be a spin-off called The Trench in development for 2022. Yeah, go for it. Why not? As long as you get rid of Amber, I'm fine. The film is the fifth highest grossing film of 2018 and the 20th highest of all time, which it deserves. Look at this beautiful scenery with those jellyfish. It looks amazing. It does. I couldn't see this in December because December was it was really freaking cold. And there's the dolphins. It is awesome. And even dolphins can be dangerous. People think that they're friendly creatures. See, there's a manta rays or stingrays. November studio. The film's financial success has been attributed to the studio's marketing plan. Yeah, and again, it worked because it's a visually stunning movie. I never knew that this movie was going to be so beautiful to look at. It's like a work of art when you think about it. Is it a best picture movie? No. Yeah, this film came out in November in London, but in America it came out in December. But it was too late in the year. I'm like, this movie should have been a summer movie. The fact that we had to get Solo instead of this in the theater is just sad. The Solo was garbage. I couldn't even see the whole movie. The whole movie is shot in the dark, which is because it has the best visual effects of that year. Well, mostly, yeah, because Infinity War got best visuals. It got a nomination. What won best visuals though? And while this got this almost the same critical response as Joker, I don't care because again, it entertained. It got a fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, so who cares? Yeah, it was the highest grossing installment in the DCU at the time for any based on one character, as well as Warner Brothers' second highest grossing film worldwide, behind Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Good movie, but a little bit too long. And yeah, this is like the thing in the bongo in the bongo in the Phantom Menace. And that thing looks like the thing from Thor. Remember the Rainbow Bridge? This movie's like again, it's like Thor underwater. That's what it reminded me of, and a little bit of Thor Ragnarok as well. That's beautiful. The Kingdom of Atlantis, and I really felt like I was there. Solo was just so forgettable. It really was nothing of a movie, and it was too dark, Johnny. I couldn't see anything. The whole movie's in the dark. It was pathetic. It's like they can't even show the action, so they have to put it in muted browns and dark blues and gray. It's depressing. I think first man won best visuals. Yeah, it flopped though. It was that space movie with what was it, Matt Damon, I think, or something like that. Which again, Aquaman. Oh no, it was with Ryan Gosling. Yeah, had way better effects. Exactly, I could see them. I want to see the work on screen. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see a hand in my face. You know, that's what it feels like. This is gorgeous, man. I feel like I'm in another world. Like when I saw Tron Legacy 10 years ago. I'm going to see that soon. See, that's a better actress than Amber. Olivia Wilde. I met her in person. She's a feminist, but she's not. She doesn't hate men. I took a selfie with her, and I told her what, and she signed my cup, and she told me what and I told her that it was a dream come true. She was smitten. She smiled. She was like, "Oh my God, that's so sweet." Again, she's human, and she's one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen in person. That looks great. Look at the turtles. Yeah, I forgot about those. Feel like I'm in another world. That's what I want to see the movies in the theater again, guys, to escape. Not to be like, oh, is this going to be overly political and too realistic? No. Screw that COVID-19 movie that came out with Sophie Carson and KJ Apa. That wasn't needed. That's exploiting a tragedy for your own personal gain. Shame on you, directors. Shame on you. This movie didn't do that. Oh, There's the sunken pirate ship. And if Josh is like, "Oh, John, you hated Amber from the beginning," she's not British. That's not the reason I don't like her. I just had this vibe in the theater that I'm like, this girl's gonna be a problem. And yeah, she was. And I wasn't the only one that thought that. It's like Solo was trying so hard to look like a Sin City or Max Payne. Staying with that did not work at all because Star Wars is not Max Payne. It shouldn't look like Max Payne or Sin City exactly. And also with the darkness, it was so dark. It made Alien versus Predator Requiem look like it's in a ray of sunshine. And I like that in this movie, Willem Dafoe's not overacting. Like in Spider-Man, it's fun to watch him overact in that movie because that was the movie for its time. Again, now in a superhero movie, I don't need overacting. The only one that overacts in this movie is Patrick Wilson, but he feels like an anime character because he has like blonde hair and he's over the top and he's around all these visual effects. I'm like, yeah, it's like an anime character. She has the same expression, the same no, I have an expressive face, guys. Yeah, I don't understand why you did this, Amber. There it is. Critical response. Yeah, I got a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not bad for a movie that was supposed to be taking a joke. Aquaman swims with an entertaining, ludicrous tide, offering up CG superhero spectacle that delivers energetic action with an emphasis on good old-fashioned fun. Exactly. It's a fun movie. That's all I wanted. I didn't want a deeply thought-provoking movie. There's a giant whales. This movie is almost the same running time as Rise of Skywalker, and it's a better freaking movie. How? Because again, it's not boring. It seemed like Patrick Wilson saw Rogue One and was trying to imitate that useless Ben Mendelsohn in a way, but again, he's only doing this because the script, demanded it. But at least he's not an Australian doing a bad British accent. He sounds normal. Those look like the things from Sucker Punch, those walking thing, yeah. Again, he looks like Odin from Thor. See that walking machine in this flashback? Yeah, it looks like the things from Sucker Punch. Run away from the CG buildings. It also reminds me of the beginning of the original Clash of the Titans when they destroy Argos. Yeah. Hmm. That looks awesome. Those fish people. There's the crab people and lobsters. Oh, those creatures are awesome. Those underwater things those creatures with the sharp fangs and the sharp claws. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the superhero movies in 2021 because we're going to get some. Unlike this year, where all we got was a bad DCU movie, Birds of Prey, a lame freaking superhero movie that the comic book movie that didn't deliver with Bloodshot. We got a delayed movie from Marvel that was not a Marvel Cinematic Universe film that was horribly forgettable. And what else? That's it. That's about it. We didn't get any MCU movies or any good DCU movies this year, and I wish we did, but unfortunately, wasn't the case. But next year, we got Black Widow, we got freaking the Justice League Snyder cut, we have Wonder Woman 84 will be on HBO Max this weekend, but I'll see you next year. We have freaking Peacemaker. That's a TV show for John Cena's character from the Suicide Squad, which I'm skipping because I don't like Margot. This is a cool action scene, by the way. and we have Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, and Eternals. I'm gonna be just fine, guys. This suit looks cool. Look at that. It's a red suit. Yeah, with a sword. This does have a lot of anime, you know, elements to it. And I could actually see this fight scene. Oh my God, it's not shot in the dark. Somebody pinched me. People bitch about Aquaman give the dumbest reason against it. Not a documentary about dolphins. It's a fun comic book movie. Exactly, with color and good lighting and a good director behind it. It wasn't like Juan was fired, you know, like somebody was fired and then Juan took over. No, this is a complete movie. Doesn't feel like it needed a director's cut. Also, yeah, it's long, but it doesn't feel like it because it's entertaining. Yeah, with The Force Awakens, I was bored. Like in the second half of the movie, once Han died, it lost me. Rogue One, I was bored from the beginning because the characters weren't interesting. They were dull. You have a beaver tooth, her Mexican Drake Bell friend, and freaking two Asians that die because reasons. And the ending was downbeat. No, but we got Birds of the UK, the only comic book movie that came out this year. Well, no, Bloodshot did come out right afterwards, but it's not a superhero movie. It's just Vin Diesel. Yep, he has an Iron Man fist. See, the scene is very bright, and I can see it. No, Aquaman doesn't need a director cut at all. It's fine. Yeah, it's long enough. It's not like Fan Snorstick that needed 30 minutes more. It needed the origin to be faster. You needed more action because one action scene at the end can't make a good movie, guys. I'm sorry, it can't. Endgame was 3 hours, but I was so invested. They couldn't have an action scene for an hour, and I would have been fine. Why? Because I was invested in the characters and the story. As soon as Hawkeye's family disappeared, I was like, "Oh, this is getting serious." That looks awesome. Look how bright that is. Man of Steel, everything is like the colors are like undersaturated because they wanted to be they make this drama instead of a superhero movie, and it was boring. It's the same running time as this, yet I was bored. And Cavill kills the main villain with his bare hands and screams like a bitch. How was I supposed to know about that? Huh? Just that same face, Amber. I'm on cold medicine. And she either looks like she's gonna cry. She's like the Kristen Stewart of blondes. And no, Kristen Stewart blonde now doesn't count. That Snorsick is awful. 5 years later, and it's still horrible. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on Disney Plus. I've been avoiding that movie like the plague and COVID because I don't want to get it. See, look at these visuals. They're behind them. I don't throw things in the ocean. All my garbage I throw in the garbage, and recyclables I put them in the recyclable cans and at home in plastic bags. Man of Steel just too sentimental and probably would have been surprised if it was trying to be emotionally manipulative. It is, and it tries to do the Nolan thing where it's out of order, like it's non-linear. That they go to the past and they go to the present, then they go to the past and they go to the present. It's too much. Make up your mind. Don't try to confuse me. Non-linear storytelling can work. Quentin Tarantino knows how to do that, but Nolan and Zack Snyder don't. Oh, this light shuts off after a while. I guess it overheats, but I don't need it anyway. I'm fine. See here, Patrick Wilson's just kind of underplaying it, but then later he starts yelling, and I'm like, I was laughing because I'm like, man, this guy's overacting, but he's a good actor. The Ring of Fire that was in Finding Nemo. Amber just has that same face. She looks like she's sad or she's like doesn't confused to be there. She doesn't know what to do. Mary Jane had more to do in the Spider-Man movies with Sam Raimi. At least she was human in that movie. She wasn't like an emotionless freaking twat, you know? Zack Snyder should just retire as director from making DC movies. He can't make a good comic book movie because his style doesn't fit. Yeah, I did like Watchmen, but that was over 10 years ago. Watchmen was a dark crime drama, not a superhero movie that's like, here I come to save the day. The heroes do kill because Rorschach kills a lot of people in that movie and messes them up. Oh, this guy, yeah, he looks just like John Young Bausch from Power Rangers. Not a great actor, this guy, but he's only in the flashback. So they said he was one of the worst actors in the movie, but he's in a flashback, guys. He's physical, I'll give him that, but because you're fighting with Willem Dafoe. This guy was in Spider-Man. You can't underact when you got a classically trained actor like Willem Dafoe. Hey, John, how's your day? Hey, Joshua, the other Josh. I wanted to let you know that I was really enjoyed Aquaman. I do like Man of Steel, but Aquaman is definitely a nice breath of fresh air for DC. I also love Watchmen. Yeah, exactly. They finally said, we're not going to try to be Marvel, but we're not going to try to be somber either. We can have our dark movies like Joker and the Batman, which I'm not seeing, and have some fun with the other characters. Should have made more money. It's because Watchmen came out in 2009. Comic book movies were not making a lot of money back then that were R-rated because they didn't trust it. They thought that audiences were too, young to enjoy them. Yet when Deadpool came out, that all changed. Now R-rated comic book movies can work. Deadpool, Logan, Deadpool 2, Joker, they can work. Birds of Prey didn't work because it was pandering. It wasn't the female empowerment thing. It's just the fact that the villains are misogynists. They're a bunch of men that treat women like shit. Yeah, again, that's not what I want to see in superhero movies, guys. In Wonder Woman, they treated her like a queen, which they should. Just because, like, The Trench, that's the next spinoff. They executed her? What are you, with Mark Wahlberg? Jason Momoa is a badass compared to Rob Pattinson. Yeah, because he doesn't sparkle in the sunshine, and he has physical prowess, and he does a lot of it without a stunt double. Just saying. I admit this dress is nice, but I don't like Amber in it. It looks like a wedding dress. The jellyfish dress, it looks nice, but again, it would be better on a better actress. Just saying. Her wig looks so fake. It looks like it looks like red anime hair. No, you don't. Patrick Wilson knows nothing about you. Wilson can actually act. You can't, Amber. Conjuring 3 is coming out on HBO Max next year. It's a good alternative. Hey, if I could see a blockbuster at home and not get sick, I'll be fine. The only movie I want to see in the theater is Black Widow. That's something I need to see. Because with Marvel, I need my fix. It's been over 17 months now, guys. I commend the people that did the costumes in this movie, not Amber's performance. It's just soulless and just dull, man. The whole movie, she's like, even when she's getting mad, she's like, you don't know him. And I'm like, oh my, you don't, oh my God. It's hard to watch her act. It really is. And people gave a lot of crap to Brie Larson. Brie Larson won an Oscar, guys. So she can act. Unlike this girl, which I'm not going to show the picture, unlike this girl, Brie actually can act. Maybe she was stoic like that because she wanted to. They had to make her character more serious. She's not a cracking the joke kind of girl, For the sequel of Aquaman, they should just replace Amber with the lady from Dread. Now that would be a good replacement. Yeah, you mean Olivia Thirlby? Yeah, she would be a better Mira or Hilla, who's Mira's twin sister. Yep. Again, two brothers fighting for the throne. Thor, but underwater. It's not a remake of Thor. People said this is a remake of Thor. I'm like, no, Thor was in Asgard, far away from Earth in another realm. This is underwater, like the Little Mermaid. At least Brie doesn't abuse someone. No, and she likes men. Trust me on that one. They said, I don't like old 40-year-old white guys. I'm not a 40-year-old white guy. And I've seen her in other stuff besides Captain Marvel. I saw her recently this year in Room. It's a fantastic performance. Short Term 12, great performance. 21 Jump Street, Kong Skull Island. Again, I'm invested in her, guys. Get over it. Here comes a fight. And we're about an hour into the movie, and we still got another hour to go. That's why I wanted to start it early. See, yeah! And this is kind of like the fight scene. See, he yells like an anime. Tell me that's not a Dragon Ball Z yell. Ah, Kamehameha! Yeah, it's like anime. It's like an anime, and there's a lot of animes underwater too. Yeah, there's like Attack of the Clones, a scene where the Geonosians are watching them fight the monsters. Yeah, men like to do a battle cry. Hey, Gal did that in Justice League and Batman versus Superman and in Wonder Woman, so she's guilty of doing it too. King of Armas, half-breed. But speaking of Dredd, that movie is so badass. One of my favorite comic book movies of all time. Dredd 2012 is what Stallone's movie should have been. Yeah, there's the octopus like from Little Mermaid. It's interesting that they did that. Wow, she's so boring. Oh my god. Again, Amber, you are not Scarlett Johansson. I keep saying that because you're not. She wears a red wig and she freaking rocks it. And she made every guy in the theater cream their pants when she came out in her Black Widow outfit for the first time in Iron Man 2. And then when we saw her break out of that chair in Avengers, that was freaking awesome. She fought a bunch of Russians by herself without superpowers. Yeah, without doing this. I'm raising the water. Yeah, that's not her. Yeah. At least these fights are unlike an anime. It's not like cut. It's not edited badly. Yep, there's a slow mo. Kung Fu kick. This movie's still visually stunning, even 2 years later. It still holds up pretty well. Sometimes a CG fest movie doesn't look good a year or so later. No, still is very entertaining. I don't care what the nostalgia critic says if he ever reviews this movie. This movie was awesome. It gave me what I wanted for the rest of the DC universe. Mostly. They had a stumbling block this year, but again, we'll get better DCU movies next year. I know we will. By the way, John, do you think Brandon Lee would have been a Neo and said, yeah, he was also going to be Johnny Cage in the first Mortal Kombat movie, but he passed away. I miss him though. I do miss him a lot. Amber, nobody will miss you when you retire. No one will miss you because you're not an entertaining woman. She did some terrible freaking movies in the last decade. She did what? She did freaking Machete Kills. Machete Kills? Really? Machete Kills. Machete Kills. What else has she done? I don't want to look at her face. I'm tired of looking at her. She's so boring in this movie. No, Amber Heard is the MCU's Invisible Woman. If that happens, that movie's going to flop. Nobody wants to see abusive bastards on the big screen. Trust me on that one. It's the reason Megan Fox is not in the MCU. She just got divorced. Because, again, she's bisexual. What the hell did you expect? Remember, guys, what you see is what you get. If you are with a woman that's in the LGBTQRSTUV WSYZ or a non-binary, what the hell do you expect? And I admit it, I'm attracted to some women that are bisexual, like Angelina Jolie, but some of them You reap what you sow, man. Hold on. Get this out of the way. Aquaman definitely reminded me of Thor. I also reviewed Thor on my channel. I did too. Brie Larson and Scarlett are better than Amber. Again, better actresses that got Oscar nominations. She was also in a TV show called the Hidden Palms. Yeah, she divorced Johnny Depp in 2017, and that should have been the end of it. You should have left him and not put a hand on him. Just get your alimony checks and get the hell out of my face, Bint. Partners. Yeah, these partners, even they left her. Again, bisexual. Ah! I love that. It's like when Logan does that in X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's laughable. It's like, nobody's gonna miss Amber when she's got. No one's gonna miss her. Gal Gadot is awesome as Wonder Woman. Yeah, and she's a very caring woman. I've seen that in interviews and when she goes to hospitals and kisses babies because she has a baby. See, personal life. She came out of the closet. Look at this. Heard publicly came out at GLAAD's 25th anniversary 10 years ago. So again, Johnny, you should have seen what was you should have seen it coming. But as stated, I don't label myself. Yeah, again, we know what you are, okay? We know exactly what you are. She probably came out as non-binary or queer. And I'm, again, not for me. I want to date a heterosexual woman like I am. Ah! I love that. Yes, you don't deserve my attention. This is the only thing she does in the whole freaking movie. She rides the bongo from episode 1. Johnny Depp deserves a lot better. Yeah, an older chick too, not some 30-something-year-old chick that when he was with her, he was like in her 20s. This is like the scene. Yeah, it's like the scene from Attack of the Clones, but underwater, and Phantom Menace because it's like the bongo from that. This movie would have been a 9 out of 10 if she wasn't in it. It's like with Vanessa Kirby and Hobbs and Shaw and Mission Impossible Fallout. You don't need her. I have enough estrogen in those movies as it is. Boom. Ah! She deserves all the hate that she got this year. Because if freaking Johnny Depp didn't know that she came out 10 years ago, he made a big mistake. Yeah. Look at him. She has the same face. Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns doesn't look like that. She shows emotion before she's in the catsuit and afterwards. No, you shut up. You shut up. I know they said you can't judge a book by its cover, but when the cover is burnt and soiled, yeah, you have some problems. Yeah, for me, it's like a 7 out of 10. It's a really good film, but Amber really, it kind of hurts it. Yeah, she does. Because she can't act, guys. And I'm not attracted to her. She's just a diet soda version of Scarlett Johansson. When I have a better alternative, I'm going to go for it. And I mean a much better alternative, not, just a little bit better, a way better. Have way better. The women in the MCU are gorgeous. Scarlett Johansson, Evangeline Lilly, Pom Clementine, freaking Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen is way more badass and she's getting her own show next year, which I'm going to see. WandaVision comes out January 15th, guys. Watch it when it comes out. That's a high recommendation when it comes out because, again, it's going to be awesome. We all know that. Even in Zombieland, she sucked, and that was over 10 years ago because they make her a zombie and then she disappears from the movie, and then Emma Stone's the real chick. Johnny Depp, just stick to dating ladies that are around your age, not ladies that are young enough to be your grandkids. This goes to the same for Brad Pitt and Mel Gibson. Exactly. I'm in my 30s. I'm not going to date a chick that's 15. I like to be a law-abiding citizen. Yeah, like that little girl from Stranger Things. She's too young for me, guys. And she's British, which is not for me. The girls from Sharknado are better than this chick. This chick. Let me lower it. I don't want to get a copyright infringement. This is when they're on the desert. Away from you, there's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rain down in Africa. Yeah, that's the song from. That song was in an episode of the Goldbergs. Yeah, that red wig looks terrible. It looks like a blood red wig. Again, why do you look like Poison Ivy? Because she is poison. Zing. Yeah. See, I'm gonna do this all day, guys. I got a million jokes. I don't want to date a girl that's too young for me. Caitlin Deaver's younger than me, but she's not 19, guys. She's 24. That's almost perfect for me. Yeah, they're in the Sahara Desert now. But again, to be fair, Josh, before you come at me in the comments later, this movie has one scene in the desert, not the entire freaking movie like Force Awakens, where 90% of the movie's in Jakku, aka Tatooine 2.0. Even Mandalorian knew deserts were boring. That's why they left it as soon as they could. Yeah, I know you've turned your back on it. Again, I'm be here all day, guys. Zombieland, I barely remember, and just because Lisa Elizabeth Olsen doesn't abuse or hit men and isn't part of the LGBT because she likes men. She's normal. Her sisters are normal. Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen mostly. They marry to men that are much older than them, but at least they're men and not non-binary codes. The only things that have binary is freaking computers. This has a binary code. My laptop has a binary code. My cell phone, my tablet, my DVD player, anything with a computer has a binary, not people. We're freaking living beings, not freaking computers. Non-binary, yeah, kiss my ass. And you have He-Man here in this movie, which is awesome. Dolph Lundgren. Yes, I like him as He-Man. Get over it. Masters of the Universe, when he grabs that sword at the end, is like, I have the power. That's awesome. I love it. It's just like the cartoon. This has the Green Goblin and He-Man in the same scene. How nerdy is that? I'm not saying people from the LGBTQ are bad people, just they shove their agendas in my face. And I don't need that. We're about an hour in, so we still got a long way to go, Johnny. We have another hour and 11 minutes. I don't have to see the whole end credits, just a post-credit scene, and then I'll stop. Those visuals look amazing. I know it's CG, guy, but it doesn't look bad. It's not like the Asylum made this. There is no third gender. No, there isn't. You're a man or a woman. You can't be both. You're not an alien. Non-binary doesn't exist. Yeah, all these terms like pansexual and transgendered and freaking bi-curious and gender fluid, it doesn't exist, guys. Yeah, I know. My friends do. I'm cautious now that after seeing this girl try to act. I prefer brunettes because they're more exotic looking and they're some of the sexiest women in the world. I know. I met some of them. Amy Jo Johnson is a brunette still to this day, 50 years later, and she's still a knockout. Same here, bro. They shove it down your throat, and that's why I've been harsh on them. Again, you don't need to. I don't need gay agendas in my freaking game shows, talk shows, or shows like the CW shows like Riverdale or Supergirl, whatever. It's not needed. This is why Batwoman failed last year, guys, because she has to shove in your face that she's a woman. I'm a lesbian. I like girls. I'm a woman. Again, we get it already. That's cool. Again, as much as this guy is very angry, he shows more emotion than Finn does in The Force Awakens. Again, Finn, the whole movie, he's like in that movie, and then in the other movies, he's yelling. At least this guy has a motivation, and he has more screen time than characters like Phasma and Maz Kanata and all these other characters. And I like that they use swords and spears in this movie and not just guns. That gun looks awesome, by the way, though. That white gun that they have. They have good ideas in this movie. People said that this is just a mindless action movie. No, there's a lot of good ideas. Ideas make my brain, it tickles my brain, guys. When they take something that's been done before, guns, and they put a new spin on it. Or they have these gorgeous holograms but made out of water instead of like a beam that comes from the sky, whatever. This is his building the the Black Manta suit. That's just hair gel. This movie doesn't have a commentary, so I'm doing my own. Charlize Theron, yeah, we don't need a lesbian Die Hard movie. No, hell no. We also don't need a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road with another actress that looks nothing like her. Anna Taylor-Joy, nothing against her for look-wise, but she looks like she's 20 years younger than Charlize and looks nothing like her. So how's she Furiosa? I don't get it. Also, tell me that Black Manta doesn't look like a dark version of Alpha from Power Rangers. He does. Looks better than the 2017 movie, right? He does. He looks like Alpha. Yeah, they're in the desert, but again, it's a very short scene. It doesn't go on for 30 minutes. Hey, if you put a hand on Jason in the sequel, he'll knock your teeth in. Yeah, Momoa's a tall man. He could break you in half in 5 seconds, Amber. No ideas. Aquaman has a lot more ideas than something like X-Men First Class. Exactly. And it didn't bore me to death. As much as I like Jennifer Lawrence, she doesn't even want to be covered in the blue makeup anymore. And for reasons, because again, because people didn't like the thing. Hold on. I got to plug my computer in. Hold on. I'm still here, guys. Don't worry. I'm just plugging my computer in so it doesn't die. Blah 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 blah. This scene could have been cut just for pacing sake. Oakley dokley. Here we go. Let's continue. Yeah, he fell in a sand trap. Oh no, you're doomed, Amber. Again, she's writing the jokes for me, guys. Yeah, better than the 2017 film that wasn't really any good. No, it was boring. That Power Rangers movie didn't feel like Power Rangers at all. Not even at the end, where they have these god awful CG swords and they it's a Krispy Kreme commercial and the actors are not good in it. I'm sorry. Yeah, Anna Taylor Joy. Yeah, she's too baby faced. She looks like she's 12, guys. Why'd they cast these people from Game of Thrones or from some other stuff that I never seen? From the Vitch or Witch or whatever it's called. She looks like she's 12. Caitlin Deaver's young and petite, but she's not a little girl. Look at her. Look at this face over Amber's. Just look at it. She just turned 24 yesterday. She's one of the most desirable girls I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it is. Look at this face and tell me this isn't a better looking chick than Amber. Look at that nose. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that hair. Petite little body. That's what I want. Not this. Not this thing. She's the only thing in this movie that's completely awful. Like you can say whatever you want about the CG and the action and the pacing and the long running time, but the worst thing in the movie is her. Has no chemistry with Jason Momoa whatsoever. So when they kiss at the end, it's the Kylo freaking Ray kiss from the last movie. It doesn't work. Nothing happens. They already cast too much of those Game of Thrones people in the new Star Wars films, and guess what? Those Game of Thrones people ruined the sequel trilogy. Yeah, again, well, the ones that they did cast, they had freaking the girl that played Phasma, and they had the girl that was in what you call it, the girl from the girl in Solo, not in Solo, and then who else? Yeah, it's just it's lazy. They cast people. Don't touch him. Don't touch his face. Don't touch his face. This is why you got in trouble in the first place. She's sucking the water out of his scalp. Again, that's not cool. That's not interesting. I've already seen that. She doesn't seem like a bitch. No, she's not. Caitlin Deaver is actually normal, and she played a lesbian in Booksmart, but she's the cutest little lesbian I've ever seen in my life because she's just playing it, and I'm like, yeah, you're adorable. You don't think guys want to go see that movie? I would. Yeah. That's cool. This is a cool scene. I don't want to talk too much. Yeah, like I said before, next time cast an actress that actually can act. When they cast her in 2017, I'm like, oh my God, she's going to ruin this role. And she did ruin the role. Mira isn't some boring chick, a blonde chick with a freaking bad red wig and non emoting face. And this doesn't feel like a DC movie. That's the thing. It feels like an underwater Marvel movie, which we haven't seen yet. I would love to see a Submariner movie, kind of like this, just without without Amber Heard this time. Get somebody that actually can. You memorized it, really? I wish this was Scarlett Johansson, but she was still being Black Widow. So, yeah, again, those wigs look better on her. She came out. Once a girl comes out, I'm like, bye. I'm not interested in you. And you know what I mean. Not coming out of the closet, not coming outside or whatever like that, like this year. It's not for me, guys. If you see my channel over the past 7 years and my new channel this year, not interested. Sicily, Italy, yes. Bellissimo and all that. And nobody I'm gonna miss really when she retires. No, she might as well because she's not gonna get another role. When Chaos Walking flops, she's done. As much as Jake Lloyd was not in anything big after Phantom Menace, at least he knew when to call it quits. This girl did 3 movies and ruined all 3 of them with her face. Amber's not doesn't have a haunting face just after what she's done. Yeah, she looks like she's like on some kind of drugs or something in this movie. She's like smelling flowers and she goes like this. She's high as a kite. Why are you eating the flowers? What are you, a freaking dinosaur from the? Why are you eating a flower? What are you, the dinosaurs from Land Before Time? That's disgusting. That's not sweet. That's disgusting. Momoa was something like, who eats a flower? Seriously, that's the stupidest one of the stupidest things I've seen in this movie. And there's plenty of stupid, but at least it's entertaining. Eating a flower is not. They did that in Tammy and the T Rex back in the '90s, guys. That's cool. That little girl's a better actor than Amber, and she's a little girl. That's the only time. That's the only time that Amber smiles in the entire freaking movie. Seriously, that's the only smile she gave in an hour and 30 minutes, almost an hour and 23 minutes. She finally smiles, and I'm like, yeah, too little, too late, zombie. Too little, too late. Pinocchio. Hmm. Yeah, it's good that they go to different locations here, but they don't do it every 2 minutes. Like in Ocean's 12, they go to way too many locations. That movie goes to like 12 locations in 5 minutes. It's way too much. This looks cool. That looks really cool. So it's a motion capture. So hey, SpongeBob is underwater, and that's lasted over 20 years. So if you had to switch these two roles, which roles from Keanu Reeves and Bruce Willis would you switch? Um, Not Speed, because I think Keanu was fine in that. Uh, Let me see. I would probably put Bruce Willis in Keanu Reeves' role in Bram Stoker's Dracula, because Keanu's accent in that movie is horrible. He sounds constipated. I don't know what it is, and I heard the movie's good, but his acting in that movie is just, yeah, it's something else. That looks great. They look way better than the Navi in Avatar, because that's just distracting CG. It's like the whole movie looks like a video game. Here, it's underwater, and it fits the underwater place. And this is a much better King story than freaking the Lion King remake from last year. Yeah. This movie still looks amazing. Even the outside scenes. Yeah, Ocean's 12 was a piece of garbage. Like the first one was good. The third one was way better than the second one, though. Because I'm like, oh, thank God the movie's more focused. It still had issues. It was still too long, but it's a riddle. This is basically like a puzzle in a video game, but it's not a fetch quest. This movie's not a fetch quest. When they have to get items in the movie, it's short. It's not 15 minutes of that, like in Rise of Skywalker. Catherine Zeta-Jones ruined Ocean's 12 for me. Yeah, she wasn't needed in the movie. She was a piece of ass for Matt Damon. That's it. I think the movie would have been better. Just don't cast a useless bit. But yeah, you didn't need her in the movie. She was just there to fill time. Same thing with the Ellen Barkin in the Ocean's 13. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, he looks like Alpha from Power Rangers. Is a model and not an actress. She's only famous because she was married to Michael Douglas, also because of her singing in like Chicago. I don't think she's horrible, but in some movies she definitely raises the movie low for me. Opta! Optimus! It's the same acting. Yeah, she's awful in the movie. This guy has to act with a helmet on, and yet she had the whole movie. She shows her face, and I wish she didn't. So he burned his arms. So see, Arthur takes some damage. Vulnerability. He's not a superhuman. That has no vulnerability. Yeah, he has a giant blade. This looks like a really cool Power Rangers fight. Imagine if a Power Rangers movie had a fight scene like this. This is the only fight she's even in. But she runs away again, just like the hobo did. She completely raised Ocean's 12 to a new low. Again, didn't need to be in the movie. She wasn't even in the. She was only in the movie because Julia Roberts was too busy doing other films, so she's basically an extended cameo. And that awkward scene with her and Bruce Willis, it was really awkward. It was the most forced cameo in the movie. Look at this Looney Tunes stuff. Watch. Boom. He goes to a building like a Looney Tunes short. Or Predator 2. Yeah, they did good. They're causing collateral damage, but yeah, exactly. They're destroying a thing, but it's not an entire city. Like in Man of Steel, they took the collateral damage way too far. Everything gets destroyed. The buildings and the cars and the freaking, the statues and everything. It's just horrible. It's awful. I was like, this is just disaster porn. I hated Bruce Willis' cameo. Yeah, I didn't like it. It was so forced. And this is before he was phoning it in like recently. Seriously. What was he doing in that movie? Collecting a paycheck. He's like, I'm going to talk to Julia Roberts right now. And then Julia has to come out with a pregnant belly and I'm playing herself. Kind of meta, but it wasn't needed. It was just fill time. We don't need the actors to like poke fun at themselves in a movie that's not comedy. Bruce Willis acting in that cameo was bad. Yeah, it was. The only people in that movie that were good in the movie were, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and George Clooney. They're always good in those movies because they know what they are. They're not trying to be cartoon characters. Yeah, this is like Predator 2 a little bit. He's going through walls. Winter Soldier. That's another comic book movie that has awesome effects and it still holds up and it's over 2 hours long. That was a stunt double. That wasn't Amber. Again, wait till the sequel comes out and she dies in the first act, just like they did to poor Famke Potente in The Born Supremacy. First 20 minutes, she drowns, and nobody saw that coming. That's cool. The bell. Oh man! And Aquaman does save that little girl. See, he's not a cart. He's not. He saw. He hit. He sacrificed his body to make sure that little girl didn't die. Again, that's very heroic. Which one? Yeah, I do say screw that movie too, Johnny, because it was not needed. It was a forced sequel that added nothing to the first Ocean's 11. It added nothing to that movie. I'd rather see the original Ocean's 11 from the 60s than see that sequel again. It's awful. It's way too long. They learned nothing from the first movie. They got a terrible director to fill in, and the writing was all over the floor. The directing just couldn't save the bad writing in it. Yeah, again, let me say this again when Josh sees this. He hits a freaking Liberty Bell with his arm and saves a little girl. If that was Henry Cavill's Superman, he would have taken the bell and crushed her with it afterwards. I didn't like the Ocean's 13 either since they wasted Al Pacino. It was better. It wasn't as convoluted as the second movie. Ocean's 8, decent, but it had too many people in it. Just saying. I liked Anne Hathaway, Helen Bonham Carter, and Aquafina, and what was it? And Sarah Paulson. But some of the characters were not needed in the movie. Like Sandra Bullock didn't work for me as a lead because you know how I feel about her. Yeah, Ocean's 12 is one of the worst. Oh, this is the one he puts his head in the toilet. This is funny, man. Watch this like Home Alone too. It's like I need water. He had to put his head in the toilet. That's great. I love that. That's where your career is going to be, Amber, in a couple of years, in the toilet and flushed right down the toilet. Yuck. That's a fitting metaphor right there. You know, I'm attracted to estrogen, and even in the DCU. But give me an actress that I actually like or love to pieces, like Erin Moriarty, which I'm going to see more of next year in 2021. Because I haven't seen her in a movie since Kong Skull Island, and that was only a cameo, an uncredited cameo. Like she's a bar girl in that movie, and that's it. You don't see Black Manta until the post-credit scene. It's a cool fight, but like I said, one villain, not two. Like Ocean's 12 started off really promising and decent, and then boom, the toilet flush and everything. Talk shit. Yeah, and the movie starts with a bunch of going to different locations every 2 minutes. It's like they can't even stay in one location and suck. They have to go to. They're in Paris, then they're in London, then they're this way, then they're in Germany, then they're in America, then they're. It's too much. Stick with one. Stop trying to be Rise of Skywalker, or or other movies where you go to like 18 different locations in 10 minutes. You got to give me some time to breathe. This movie just didn't need her. Like you could have had a better actress playing her. And her first body, I don't like that movie either. Tenet, I am going to see Tenet, but next year. I'll do a commentary for it if it's worth my time. Because they said you have to see it multiple times to get it. Two people are watching my commentary right now, but I'm going to go. I'm going to watch more people will watch it later on YouTube. I mostly get an audience on YouTube more than on StreamYard because they don't know when I'm podcasting. Yeah, we're about an hour and 36 minutes in. We're almost done. It's probably one of the longest movies I've done on my channel, live commentary wise, because the last few films have been like under 2 hours mostly. Vampire Suck, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, Lego DC, The Flash. The last one was Die Hard 2, but that's like still shorter than this movie. Nope, didn't kill his mom. His mom is alive. See, that's an emotional scene that has a payoff. See, she looks like she doesn't know what it is he's doing there. Do you think instead of George Clooney and Brad Pitt, do you see Keanu Reeves replacing George Clooney? Yeah, if he was big at that time. It's just he was doing the Matrix sequels. Instead of Brad Pitt, you could have John Cusack. Yeah, it would have been the same thing, but again, they went on to do other things. Amber Heard even sucked in a little movie called what was it called? That movie with Liam Hemsworth. It's so forgettable. Paranoia. Oh my god, that movie's one of the worst she's ever done. If you see that movie, guys, Johnny, Josh, whoever watches this, don't see Paranoia. It's the most boring freaking thriller I've ever seen in my life. I've seen 70s thrillers that had. Well, excuse me. I've seen 70s movies with low budgets that are better than Paranoia. It's easily one of the worst I've ever seen. Do you know who Austin Punham is? If so, what are your thoughts? I've seen his channel. He's the guy that reviews movies, that yells a lot and wears a leather jacket. Yeah, he's fine. He's not a jackass like some people I met here. Oh my god. Some of the people I met on Skype and YouTube, they've just been asshats. And I'm wearing a Santa hat because this is the last podcast I'm doing before Christmas. But thanks for watching my channel, guys. You guys have been awesome. Future, at least Amber isn't in Zombieland Double Tap. Of course not. You have that gorgeous girl that I want to just bond with, Zoe Dosh, who is absolutely gorgeous. I saw her in Why Him, and I'm like, why isn't this girl a mom yet? Her mother is Leah Thompson, who still looks great for her age and is still alive and well. And Zoe looks just like her, and she's just as desirable. That's what I want from a woman, guys. I want her to be desirable, not a blank slate where with no emotion and no personality. That's why I couldn't get into the girls in the new Star Wars, because most of them suck. They're just freaking blank slates. They have no personality whatsoever. I had no interest in Paranoia. I have more movies to rather watch. Yeah, look what Paranoia got. And there's no paranoia in the movie. Nobody's paranoid in that movie. I got that at Dollar Tree a couple years ago, and I'm like, oh my god, this movie's so freaking boring. There was a good guy here on YouTube. His name is what was it? Bibiani. He's a movie critic. He said that Paranoia was one of the worst movies he's ever seen. I'm like, again, he's not wrong. That movie got a 7% of Rotten Tomatoes. This is the scene with the creatures in the trench. Yeah, those creatures look familiar though. I think I've seen those things before. Oh yeah, like Pirates of the Caribbean, the water creatures and that's what it kind of reminded me of. Like the first three movies, even though the third movie is garbage. It's so freaking long. Yeah, Paranoia grossed 16 million on a budget of 35 million. It was described as cliched and unoriginal, and it got a 7%. And Amber looks just as boring in that movie as she did here. See why I didn't want to see her in this movie? Because she's dull. However, there are a couple of trolls on the internet that are they just bash everything, of course, because they don't have lives to go back to. Yeah. It says, not since Taylor Lautner has Hollywood ogled a pretty boy this vacant and poorly prepared. Yeah. And him and Amber Heard have no freaking chemistry whatsoever. And it was one of the biggest bombs of 2013. Look at this poster. This has Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman. Yeah, look at these two idiots. Look at that. Look how bored they look. Liam Hemsworth looks like he doesn't want to be here, and Amber's like, "It's a paycheck. I'll get my paycheck." That's her. Even she has the same freaking face. And I hate showing a picture of her, but that's the only time I'm going to do that ever. Exactly. They're just a bunch of 19-year-olds who think they're so edgy. Lily Reinhardt would have been fine as Mira. Again, yes. Even though she's much younger than Momoa, they would have had better spark than this. The whole time, Amber looks like she doesn't want to be there, or she's sad. She has no expression on her face. It's the same face. She's the Kristen Stewart of underwater actresses, and that movie came out this year, Underwater. Yeah, and James Wan put this scene, the trench scene, because he did horror, so it does feel like a Pirates of the Caribbean scene. It's almost done. The movie's almost done. It's basically 2 hours and 10 minutes, but with the end credits. It's a long movie though, but it's not even the longest DCU movie. Oh God, no. The Snyder Cut's like 4 hours long, I heard, which is going to be a chore. No, I'm not doing a commentary for that because it's too long. I would have to do it in parts because it's just too freaking long. Even the original cut of Justice League is not too long, but it's long. Kingdom of the Trench. And if you've seen Paranoia, I feel bad for you because the movie's terrible. It seems like they probably CG'd their eyes open. I bet all of the eyes were closed in the poster sleeping. Yeah, exactly. Favorite movie of 2003. One of them was X-Men 2. And Finding Nemo was good too. They will tear us apart. Oh yeah, they will. They will tear us apart. Yeah, you think? Arthur, I'm not even trying. The Snyder Cut is in 4 parts. Good, because it's too long to do in one part. It would take, like, all of my power, and I don't want to waste 4 hours of time to do a podcast. The longest podcast I could do is 3 hours if I do Avengers Endgame. Yeah, should have eaten her face, but again, just like with the hobo, didn't give a damn about it. For what? Number one for what? 2003, probably X-Men 2, because I saw that in the theaters. There's dinosaurs here. Yeah. There's CW actresses that are better than Mira. Yeah, there's dinosaurs here. Better than Jurassic World, I can easily say that. The Hidden Sea, Earth's core. And I could buy dinosaurs in this world because, again, it's underwater. Yeah, the same face. It's the same freaking face, guys. My favorite movie of the year 2000. Oh, that's a hard one because it's been a while. It's a good scene, guys. Let me enjoy the scene before I answer that. It's a good scene. CJ Momoa can actually act. Oh my God, he's actually putting effort. It's a good scene. It's just like the scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp when Wasp sees her mom again. It's emotional, and I was invested. I'm like, oh my God, they put emotion into these freaking movies. And these are comics. These are little panels in a piece of paper that people enjoy over the years, and they put emotion into these live action performances. That's what I want to see. Let me see. Hold that thought, because the year 2000 has a lot of films. That's a good scene. Like, you can see in Momoa's eyes that he felt like this, that really was his mom, and it works. It works. It's a good freaking scene. DC does a lot of, like, parents situations where either their parents are dead or they're separated. Shazam, this movie, Watchmen, even Wonder Woman. There's always, like, some kind of family problem. Let's see, Three Strikes, 102 Dalmatians. Haven't seen that. Rocky and Bullwinkle's horrible. I haven't seen American Psycho. Art of War is good. Bamboozled, never seen that. Battlefield Earth is terrible. Bedazzled, haven't seen it. Best in Show. Big Mama's House. Book of Shadows, no. Ugh. Bring It On is good. I like that movie. Cell, no. Charlie's Angels, I do like that. I have to see that. Crouching Tiger, no. The Crew, I've seen that. Digimon the movie, no. Dracula 2000, I've seen that. Emperor's New Groove, Everlasting Peace. The Family Man, Final Destination, Flintstone, ugh. Get Carter, The Gifted Girl, Girl Fight, Gladiator, Gone in 60 Seconds, High Fidelity, Highlander Endgame, ugh. The Grinch, Icebreaker, uh, Just One Night, Keeping Faith the Kid, Last Producer, Little Nicky, ugh. Little Vampire, I've not seen it. Love and Basketball, I haven't seen it. Loser, I have not seen. Me, Myself, and Irene, Meet the Parents. Mission Impossible 2, no. That movie sucks. Have you seen The Sixth Day with Arnold? No, I still need to see that. Next Big Thing, next Friday, Nutty Professor 2, On Part of the Way Art Thou, Originals, Panic, The Patriot, Ready to Rumble, Reindeer Games, Rugrats in Paris, Scream 2, 17 Again, Sexy Beast, Shadow of the Vampire. The Tigger movie, that made me cry. Titan AE, Traffic, U571, Under Siege. I mean, not Under Siege, Under Suspicion. Urban Legends. The Watcher, What Women Want. Whipped. The whole 9 yards, I do like that one. That still holds up. X-Men. I would say Pokemon 2000 because even though it came out in Japan in 99, it came out in the year 2000 because I watch that every year and it's my favorite of the movies, of the Pokemon movies. I do like X-Men, but it was the first movie. I prefer X-Men 2. And also because, it's the film is kind of short and there's not as much action as the other sequels. Have you seen Highlander 2? No, but I've heard it's abysmal. But I do want to watch it once just to get some laughs. The scenes on YouTube made me laugh because it's a cartoon. The studio interfered so much in that movie that they made it into a cartoon, a farce of the first one where the Christopher Lambert thinks this is what an old man sounds like. I can't do this. That's the same acting that Rogue One had when Forrest Whitaker was in the movie. He sounds like this. That's not what an old man sounds like. I've seen old men. I know what they sound like. They don't sound like that. Oh, by the way, this is Julie Andrews' voice. I didn't know that. Doesn't sound like her, but she did this cameo instead of Mary Poppins Returns. I would say Pokemon 2000, even though it came out in Japan first, but it counts. Half-breed? Plus, this creature is really freaking massive. This thing is the size of a giant kaiju from like Pacific Rim or Godzilla 2014 or King of the Monsters. Yeah, this monster is freaking huge, man. But it's not a ripoff of Thor because it's a trident and not a hammer. So, have you seen Gladiator? Yes, Gladiator is really freaking good. I just don't like the ending. I think it's downbeat. I don't think he should have died at the end. This is a flashback when he was a kid, putting his hand to where the shark was. Also, Unbreakable is the best Shyamalan movie, instantly, without question. Because Split, I've heard mixed things, and Glass got destroyed by critics. No, nobody. That's the hobo in The Last Jedi. You're nobody. Then they say in the next movie, they retcon that. She's a freaking Palpatine? Really? Yeah. Kiss my ass, freaking writers of Justice League and BVS. How dare you? You don't work for Star Wars. If that's the best you can come up with, oh, she's just Palpatine's granddaughter. And Momoa deserved this hit after having been in so many flops, like the Conan remake and Bullet to the Head, which is way worse because he's a henchman in that. He's not even a major character. Have I seen Dude, Where's My Car? No, not yet. I will. As long as it's not a preachy comedy with female agendas, I'll be fine. Or male agendas for that matter either, because I don't like male chauvinists either. Or men's right activists. No. I'm a man already. I already feel active. Ugh. We're almost done. We're almost there, guys. There, he gets the trident. We're almost done with the movie. It's a long movie, but like I said, I'm going to review. I'm going to be doing a lot of commentaries for longer movies to end this year. I'm doing Die Hard with a Vengeance on Saturday, so get ready for that. then Die Hard, then Live Free or Die Hard in a couple of days after that, and then Joker is going to be New Year's Eve. So remember that. My favorite movie of 2000 is probably Meet the Parents. Haven't seen it, even though I haven't seen too many films that year like Gladiator or Unbreakable. Yeah, because yeah. In the year 2000, I was starting to go to the theater more often than when I was a kid, and I started going to the theater alone by 2003. This is a cool scene. He's in his classic yellow costume. And also the score in this movie is really good too. That's awesome. Right on the box. And why did I get this? My sister got this on Blu-ray because we don't have a 4K player. Favorite movie in 1999, probably The Phantom Menace, because it's the first film I saw in the theater that year. There are better films I know, like The Matrix or whatever, but I didn't see The Matrix in the theater. I was too young. Yes, and overact. Atlantis. Yeah, this is an awesome battle. This is like Infinity War Endgame underwater. The Kingdom of the Brine. Yeah. Again, look at that giant crab. Or Lord of the Rings. That's what it also reminds me of too. I don't think you can do this practically unless you have Peter Jackson and you're on land. Doing this underwater is almost impossible. This is awesome. These effects are still really cool. Number one favorite movie 2004. Let me guess. Spoiler: Spider-Man 2. Yeah, probably one. That's one of them. Because, like I said, I saw that in the theater. I like Shrek 2, but I think it's a bit overrated. Shrek 2. I also do like The Punisher and what else? Well, Catwoman was garbage, so that's not there. Ocean Master. Number favorite movie of 2009. What is this? A Q&A? Just one more because we're almost done with the movie. I want to keep the subject on the movie. 2009 was hard because there was no good Marvel movies. It's not X-Men Origins Wolverine. Probably Up is one of them because that was a good movie in 2009. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is too freaking long. I'll say Up. Avatar was boring, so I didn't like that. A giant kaiju. Look at this thing. Again, kiss my ass, Monster Hunter. Yeah, kiss this movie's ass. Because that's what a monster should look like. Bad dialogue and bad characters. How dare you? Yeah! I'm on a giant kaiju. That, that thing looks freaking awesome. Oh, you saw that was a giant eel. Yeah. Yeah, I love this. He's overacting. Okay, John, this is the last one. Your favorite movie, 2005. uh, Revenge of the Sith. That movie, I left the theater with a satisfying. The last time I left the theater, a Star Wars movie, satisfied. Wait, I'm glitching a little bit. My computer's probably uh yeah, you'll probably hear me. It's just it's hot. So I need to get a fan for this thing because it overheats and then it's done. This is awesome. Sharks with freaking lasers on their heads, like in Austin Powers. And I saw Sharknado too as well. Yeah, yeah, I would say a Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith because I didn't see a lot of movies in 2005 in the theater. I did see a couple. I saw King Kong, the 2005 remake. It's way too long though. Monster Hunter, no wonder that movie got panned by critics. Yeah, and it's flopping too. It only made $2 million its opening weekend. It's Mila Jovovich's lowest grossing movie, and that's saying a lot because her last couple of films haven't been that great. Hellboy was a huge bomb last year too. But again, it was not a year for comic book movies. That's why. Not in the theater anyway. Look at the squids. Yes, even the squids are kicking ass in this movie. Those are the narwhals or something like that, yeah. This does look like the Phantom Menace. But if the whole battle was underwater and they had fights, with the creatures instead of just, trying to flee from them. You saw that was an orca, yeah. This is the kiss, and it's not earned. 2 hours into the movie. Here comes this worthless kiss that I just didn't buy. Again, I can't see your face. Yeah, it's done in a circle like in Twilight. Awful. It's awful. The kiss with Ron and Hermione was better, and that was not the best kiss either, but it was better than this. At least they had more chemistry. They did 8 films together. These two only did this is their first film together, and they have no chemistry. Oh, trust me, Amber. After this movie, that orca's cool. Free Willy, I like Free Willy, so the orca's cool. You suck. You suck out of a straw. Instead of Bruce Willis in Sin City, can you see Brandon Lee or Keanu Reeves? Yeah, I could. Even though Willis was at least trying in that movie. He didn't even come back for what was it, A Dame to Die For? Yeah, I don't think he came back for that one. It was too little, too late. It's amazing, man. The way they did this movie underwater, and this feels more like a Marvel movie than a DC movie. But there's Free Willy. Mira would have been a badass character. They did more with her, and they got somebody better. But when the sequel comes out, she'll be killed off. So there's no way they're going to give her 2 hours of screen time. Two sounds too much like Scarlett Johansson, but with an even worse voice. At least Scarlett Johansson's raspy voice actually works because it subverts your expectations. This film is visually stimulating, which is what I needed in the theater after a year like this. Oh my god, this year I was watching movies behind these 4 walls, so you can't exactly blame me for being neurotic on Facebook. That's awesome. And I'm glad I got to see this in a theater that was quiet and there was nobody texting or crying or anything. Keanu or Brandon to replace Willis? Probably Brandon because he needed more work, but he died, man. They something went wrong with the stunts in the Crow, and he passed. That's why I'm never doing a stunt that's too dangerous. I want to live. Wow, that's racist. And I will say this: this battle at the end is way better than Wonder Woman, only because it didn't look like a video game. Here, there's a ton of stimulating visual effects, and it's underwater, so it can get away with it. But with Wonder Woman, that fight at the end was pseudo interference. I know that now. 2020 was definitely the worst year in history. Yeah, 2021 can't be any worse. It's shorter, and Amber, we're not going to see her for a while. Yeah, that would have been badass. It would have. I could take this hat off because it's been 2 hours. I don't want to keep it on for too long. I'm getting a headache anyway. You see my bald head. Much better. I got the pressures off my head. Would you want JCVD to replace Clive Owen in Sin City? Maybe. If he was trying and he wasn't stuck in direct to video land at that time. I still like Wake of Death though. That's a good Van Damme movie. Plus, after I saw this, I saw Shazam a few months later in the theater, and I loved it. And that's my favorite DCU movie. It nailed the superhero thing. It embraced the source material and just went for it. Slow mo. That's awesome. He broke his weapon into pieces. On a side note, I didn't mind the final battle Wonder Woman. It reminded me of the boss fight with Kratos, and well, again, it looks like a video game. And it was studio interference, which means screwed Warner Brothers for that. That's why it felt like out of place. Because the rest of the movie, most of the rest of the movie, Gal's fighting with a bunch of soldiers, hand to hand. I like this. It's cool. Kill me! Kill me? No, he doesn't. Because yeah, do it now. It's from Predator. Yeah, she's alive. She must age really well because the Patrick Wilson's like in his 40s. No, no, don't tell us, Sam Amber. Once you're done, once the sequel comes out and you're out of it, we'll be happy. Because trust me, Johnny Depp was taken out of Fantastic Beasts 3 for a reason. But Wonder Woman is a movie, not a video game. Exactly. You don't need a video game fight scene at the end, unless it's a video game movie like Sonic. Freaking nailed it this year. It's the only good video game movie we got all year. Or Wreck-It Ralph, or Ralph Breaks the Internet, or whatchamacallit, Mortal Kombat. That's supposed to feel like a video game. Even Hardcore Henry feels like a first-person shooter. That's how it works. But if it's a superhero movie, it should not feel like a video game. Instead of Bruce, can you see Brandon Lee and Surrogates? Maybe, yeah. I still like that movie. I think it's flawed, though. I don't like Rosamund Pike. She's way worse than Bruce because he's trying. She can't act her way out of a basket. It's a good movie. This movie still holds up. Even 2 years later, it came out in a cold month, but it was not a bad movie. Yes, Patrick Wilson overacts. Yes, Black Manta's underused, and yes, Amber is the worst freaking woman in the DCU so far. Even worse than Margot, because Margot is just not for me. At least she doesn't abuse people, but I don't care about her. But this girl just felt really out of place. Miscast, out of place. She has as much range as the girl from Suicide Squad. Uh, Cara Delevingne. Yeah. Hardcore Henry is what Doom should have been. Yeah, exactly. Hail to the king, baby. Again, suck it, Lion King 2019. This is how you do it. Yeah, not for you, Amber, because you'll be gone next year. Yeah, it's great. This is a better Star Wars movie than The Force Awakens. I said it to my parents when I left. I'm like, that was a better Star Wars movie than The Force Awakens, Rogue One, and Solo combined. Honestly, it was. Because I felt something. I was exhilarated. I was entertained for over 2 hours. This movie's not 90 minutes. It's over 2 hours. There's Boba. Instead of Rosamund, who's a better replacement? Rachel McAdams? Yeah, of course. She's desirable. Did you see her in Doctor Strange? Slow mo jump. I don't know if Tamora Morrison's going to come back in Aquaman 2 because he's going to be Boba Fett. Yeah, but it worked. Their chemistry was better than him and Amber. What are your thoughts on Pauly Shore? Can you see him as a Terminator? No, not as a Terminator. Yep, Aquaman. The movie still holds up, man. 2 hours and 11 minutes. Let's fast forward the post credit scenes and get to the. There's only one post credit scene. I stood till the end because I always do that, guys. It's still a good movie. It's still very, very entertaining. It did not disappoint me. I was expecting this movie to flop and be a joke, but it wasn't. The only joke in the movie is Amber. I hated her then, and I can't stand her now. And I told you guys that there was something wrong with her, and I was right. See, I can feel someone's essence when I touch somebody. I can feel I can feel their. I can absorb their energy and see if they're a good person or a bad person. I have that power. I'm like the absorbing man in a way. I can feel somebody's energy if they're good vibes or bad vibes. Yeah, Rosamund Pike, I don't know what happened to her face. You see her in Doom, and she looks like she's 25, and then you see her in that World's End. The World's End. I'm like, what happened to your face? Botox? It's awful, awful. She looks like she's aged 15 years. Yeah, Black Manta almost lost an eye, but he's still alive. I knew it because they didn't show him die. But this movie still works, man. It's still a good comic book movie. Despite Amber being terrible, like Timothy Oliphant, I'll get to him when I get to Live Free or Die Hard. There's always a worst part of the movie for me, even when I see things like Mission Impossible. That's like the Cyclops optic blast. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I forgot. Do you know who Jerome Latimer is? No, never heard of him. Was Aquaman. Yep, that's it, guys. We're done. It's a good scene. It was worth waiting till the 2 hours and 10 minute mark. It still holds up as a comic book movie. But Amber, when the sequel comes out, you are so finished in this town. You're done. And know that the stand that came out on CBS Access, it's not going to help you. I'd rather see Ezra Miller overacting than see you try to act. You're a zombie. You're not Scarlett Johansson, and you never will be. Like they said, it's Far From Home. You're not Iron Man. You're never going to be Iron Man. Well, you're never going to be Black Widow. That's for damn sure. Or Invisible Woman. You'll be invisible, all right, but for the wrong reasons. Thanks for watching, guys. Anyway, screw Amber Heard. I don't want to see her again. Yeah, because Aquaman still holds up, even though Amber does not. Not at all. This the worst part of the movie. Not the effects or the action or the score or the tone or the jokes. They don't overdo the jokes either. This isn't like Venom, where Venom was a complete joke. Because every 5 minutes, Venom is trying to be funny, and he's not funny. This is a good movie. If you've never seen it, watch it on DC in the DC streaming service, or wait till it's on HBO Max and watch it there. It's worth your time. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a good holiday, and I'll see you after Christmas. Later. End the broadcast. Yes.